All right, so another very interesting print here on exhibit is the 1883 bird's eye view of Racine. If you look at this thing, it's an amazing piece of work. It's almost as if it was an aerial photo shot from a balloon or something. Well, 1883, what did they do? How did they create this perspective view of almost every building is shown and drawn? And what they did is these companies, it was popular at the time to do bird's eye views of cities and to come around to a city. The artist would draw them and then they would publish them and sell them as a money making operation. But what the artist did was he'd walk up and down the streets with a notebook and sketch buildings, and then he'd have to go back and draw it in perspective from his notes, imagining it as if it was an aerial view. And not only that, but then the artist who did the lithograph stone would have to engrave this in reverse on stone. It's just an amazing thing when you think of the amount of work that went into one of these. And they're fairly true to the buildings. I mean, they're hand drawn and they're, artistic licenses taken, but you can recognize each building, and it's pretty accurate. So you really have to come in and look close because it'll take hours. You can go through this thing. On the outside, they did some vignettes, companies that no doubt paid for their advertising to be there. The Racine Wagon and Carriage Company is shown, which is the building we're in right now, which became the Racine Satellite Company, and then later the Racine Industrial Plant, Racine Business Center. Some of the stores, here's Horlick's Food Company, which was a fairly young company at that time. They hadn't even really gotten into producing malted milk quite yet. Joseph Miller Shoe Company, which was on 3rd and Lake Avenue. Hurlbut Manufacturing here at the junction. The Racine College. Johnson and Field made fanning mills. MMC Trunk Company down on 4th and Lake. And Stephen Freeman and Sons, they made boilers and other castings and things. Down here is the Racine Hardware Manufacturing Company, which was a big organization that was into a lot of things. They made school seating, boats, all kinds of hardware and wooden products. And they originally occupied this site before they moved over and built this factory. Here's the what at the time would have been the Secor block, or it's shown as the Sanford. What is it? That's the Advocate office, the Racine newspaper, Racine Advocate. The Lathrop block, which was a block of store buildings built in the 500 block where the Venetian Theater used to sit. But that was built this year, actually, or right around that time, because William Lathrop was a pioneer here in Racine, and he had a home in the 500 block of Main Street. And actually, it sat back about halfway into the block. They built this building in front of the home. It was an old Greek revival house. And here's a little vignette taken from an earlier engraving of Racine looking north from 7th Street in 1841. You can see some tree stumps in the street yet. Story is Racine was all forested downtown, and they had to clear the stumps out to build the streets, so they paid Socrates Hopkins $1.25 a rod to de-stump Main Street back in the day. But some of the early homes in the first courthouse. But you can just, amazing number. Oh, here's a vignette of the south end of the city showing the driving park, or the race track of G.I. Case, the Hickory Grove Farm. That would have been where Roosevelt Park is today. This was a little piece that just didn't quite fit, so they put it down here. But do check this out if you live in an older part of town. See what was there before, and you can spend hours, like I say, looking at this thing. Enjoy.